Hazy evening in Denver on a Saturday night. The Rockies ready to tee it up again against the Arizona Diamondbacks at Coors Field, coming off a tidy 3-1 victory last night. The Rockies have won 7 consecutive games, the longest run in baseball. And good evening, everybody. With my partner, George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Not only have the Rockies won 7 in a row, they're a perfect 7-0 at home to begin the season. That works very well. Last night, Jolie Chassin, George, was terrific, but a real concern. He had to leave the mound in the 7th inning. He grabbed his side. Now, you always worry about an oblique injury. I talked to Keith Duggar earlier today for a while. He's the Rockies' head trainer. They believe it's more along the back that was bothering him in spring training, back spasms. He'll be checked by Dr. Tom Noonan tonight, the Rockies' orthopedic surgeon. He will have a precautionary MRI. Very doubtful he'll make his best start. But if they believe, as they believe it's his back, much better news than an oblique.
Oh, absolutely, because an oblique, you can automatically look at 21, 28 days before you come out of that, and maybe even longer. And in the 7th inning last night, you can see here he grabbed it, pulled on the back side of that thing. He felt it a little bit on that pitch. This pitch really got him. And once that happened, it was just no question at all coming out of the ball game. And what a shame. I mean, he threw the heck out of the ball last night, really dominated the Diamondbacks. That was a fun game to watch from both sides. Kennedy pitched well, he pitched well, timely hitting, and they won a ball game.
By the way, his 1.46 ERA through 4 starts is the 3rd best start ever by a Rocky. The only better, Ubaldo Jimenez, #1 in 2010 on his way to a 15-1 start. All right, let's talk about the evening's starting pitchers. Jorge De La Rosa will go against Trevor Cahill. Speaking of a guy that's pitching very well, that is Jorge De La Rosa, 11 straight shutout innings.
Well, look what he's done also. I mean, you look at what these guys have done in comparison to what they've done. Cahill pitches well here. De La Rosa has pitched well also. And De La Rosa, in his last start against San Diego, utilized everything. The hard slider underneath the hands for the strikeout. He came back, used the curveball away from right-handers for a strikeout. He also picked on a changeup. Very good pitch in the middle of the plate for a strikeout here. So De La Rosa in command of that ball game. Cahill on the other side, when he made his start against the Los Angeles Dodgers, it's not surprising. He utilized that hard sinking fastball that he's possessed for a number of years. 6 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts, and 93 pitches in 7 1/3 innings. This is a guy that can work that sinker both sides of the plate. And when he's on, you'll see a lot of ground ball outs.
Yeah, he's got one of the top sinkers, as you suggest, in baseball. When we return, we'll talk about Troy Tulowitzki. He had a big 2-run home run last night against Ian Kennedy.
They're looking to make it 8 in a row at home. Jenny Kavnar with you field level, and Troy Tulowitzki last night continued a tradition for the Rockies this season. He hit his 5th home run, and that means the Rockies now have a home run recorded in 15 of their last 16 games. Troy's recorded a hit in almost every single game he's played this year except for one season. And in fact, his 15 RBIs, they rank 3rd in the National League. But according to Carlos Gonzalez, he makes every Rockies job in the lineup a bit easier.
We have a really good lineup right now, and I'm part of it is because we have Tulowitzki healthy, and obviously Kodai and Helton, and his presence represents a lot for this organization, for the whole club, and like I always say, he's a great athlete, a great competitor, and I'm sure that any team would like to have Tulowitzki in the lineup, so we're really glad that he plays for us, and for me personally, I enjoy playing with him every day.
Well, Rockies manager Walt Weiss also enjoys the threat that Cargo and Tulo pose to his opponents that he's playing every single day. But he also says to have a shortstop that's a Gold Glover and has that much power in his bat, it's very rare, and he appreciates it. We have Rockies baseball coming up for you in just a moment. Stick with us. Drew and George will have the call for you next.
Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Fountains hope to get a little work tonight. Got a little bit last night when Tulowitzki went deep. There's Jorge De La Rosa making his first start at Coors Field this year. It's his 4th start overall. He's got a 1-1 record and a 3.86 ERA. A.J. Pollock will lead things off tonight for Kirk Gibson, and the rest of his Southwest batting order looks this way. Martin Prado again will bat second. Paul Goldschmidt will bat third. Cody Ross will bat cleanup tonight. The rookie Alfredo Marte, Will Nieves, who was a Rocky last year for a good portion of the season, Josh Wilson, Cliff Pennington, and Trevor Cahill.
Well, let's take a look at the numbers on De La Rosa for the season so far. A 1-1 record, 16 1/3. Very good whip. A nice job of striking out some people on those 16 innings with 13 strikeouts. It's one of those pitchers in baseball that you say, as an opposing manager, we've got to get him early. If not, you let De La Rosa settle in. Could be a long night for the opposition. They've hit 375 against him the first time through the lineup. and then drops all the way to 125 and then to 100 on his third time through the lineup.
So set for a little baseball. Rockies trying to make it 8 straight. They have a 12-4 record, which matches their best start ever. 2011, they also began 12-4, and then had a horrific May on their way to a 73-win season. Walt Weiss looking on, and here is the 0-1 pitch, and that just off the corner. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
De La Rosa in his career, 16 games that he's appeared in against the Diamondbacks, 12 starts. Pretty close to dominance, 6-3, 2.41 earned run average.
It looked like the changeup. It was in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike on Pollock. He had a hit last night. He's got 7 doubles already on the season for AJ. See, Yorvi Torrealba, he's kind of been De La Rosa's caddy thus far this year. He's been behind the plate in all 4 of Jorge's starts. And that is swung on and chipped foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Arizona got to rest a little bit last night. Matt Williams, who was one of the 2 finalists for the Rockies managerial job after Jim Tracy departed. Matt Williams will manage one day in the big leagues, and I think he'll be a good one. He interviewed exceptionally well. Here's the 2-2, and that's in the air down the right field line. Eric Young Jr. giving chase, and it's into the seats and out of play. George, the last time Jorge gave up runs was that first inning. He gave up the 3-run home run in San Francisco against Hunter Pence. Since then, 11 shutout innings, and not just shutout innings, dominant innings.
You know what? Guys are going to hit mistakes at times, and even when you make good pitches, they're going to hurt you. It's how you rebound out of that. I mean, honestly, last night in the ball game, I thought Ian Kennedy made 1 mistake. He got a fastball up out over the plate, and Tulowitzki made him pay for it. Other than that, he pitched very well. You know, and Jolice, outstanding job last night in the ball game when he went 6 1/3, just 3 hits.
Well, you said it off the top of the program tonight. Both pitchers were outstanding last night, Kennedy and Chacin. But 1 mistake, and Tulowitzki made Kennedy pay. He only gave up 3 hits in his 6 innings out there. And then maybe one other mistake, or you give the Rockies offense credit. Chris Nelson drilled that triple, and then a great at bat by Chacin to drive in the run on a sac fly.
No question. I mean, and he takes his batting practice very seriously.
Pollock battling away. This is the 8th pitch of the AB, just starting the evening. And he got it. Nice job by Jorge. Well, tonight's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
The fewest hits in the ball game to win. They did it against Arizona. They've done it against the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Atlanta Braves.
And 3 of the 4 post-Humidor, the 99 game obviously before the Humidor. So just the 4th time at Coors Field.
And the opposition's only done it a couple of times with 3 hits or less at Coors Field ever.
Here's Martin Prado at the plate. And Prado takes ball 1. Chad Fairchild is calling balls and strikes. DJ Rayburn at first. Jeff Kellogg is at second. And Paul Schreiber is at third. Prado last night 0 for 4. He's just 2 for his last 21. Big year last year for Prado with Atlanta. Drove in 70. Had 42 doubles. Also had a career best 17 stolen bases. And it's 3-0. There are more numbers from a year ago for Prado. Rockies a couple of years ago, George, were involved in some discussions that involved Prado.
Oh, they were. It was 2 years ago. I mean, he was a very hot commodity to come in and be able to play it. Instead, they were able to sign Michael Kadire to come in. So they kind of eliminated the process then. Same type of player, RBI, home run type guy, great leader in the locker room. Came from winning programs, Atlanta and the Minnesota Twins.
Cool night at Coors Field, temperature in the low 50s, 52 degrees, mostly overcast. Here's another 3-2, and he missed down low. So Prado draws a walk with one out, and that'll bring up Goldschmidt. Take a look at the Rockies defensively, brought to you by Excel Energy. We bring you the energy you need so that you can live the life you want. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. In the outfield, Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler, and Junior Ewines out in right field. Todd Helton being given the evening off. Michael Kadire slides to first. Rutledge, along with Tulowitzki. Brignac's at third base. Torey Alba, as we mentioned, doing the catching. And a strike on Paul Goldschmidt. Arizona has struggled against left-handed pitching in the early going, hitting just over the Mendoza line as a club. 2-4 against lefties this year, record-wise. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. What an exciting finish. Great ball game between the Nuggets and Golden State Warriors. Game one of the first round of the NBA playoffs. Played just about a mile from here at Pepsi Center. And the Nuggets won on a last-second beautiful driving layup by Andre Miller, 97-95. After Stephen Curry tied it up with a miraculous three as the shot clock was about to go off on the previous possession.
They felt comfortable. They had 14.5 seconds left to get in the basketball. You think something pretty good odds they're going to score. And Miller did a great job of it.
Tell you what, he's amazing. What a terrific year he's had. The grand old man of the Nuggets.
Well, here's the thing about it. When you're in that type of situation, he's been there a few other times. I know it's playoffs, but he's been there a couple of times. Loved having him have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, no question. Prado at first, stays put, and swung on and missed. Second strikeout in the inning for De La Rosa as he dismisses Goldschmidt. That'll bring up Cody Ross.
Mike Shaw, Subaru Super Mo. You're going to take another look at hard slider on the back foot. Just got underneath of it because of the depth of that pitch and where it started. And I mean, when that pitch starts here and it's diving on that back foot, difficult to hit. Very off-balance swing by Goldschmidt.
Cody Ross 0 for 4 last night. De La Rosa, George, been working between 90 and 92. Again, not quite as firm as you remember him from a couple of years ago. He won 16 games in 2010.
Well, a lot of guys come back from the elbow surgery. They do get their firmness back, their speed and velocity on a fastball, and some don't. But 90-92 is plenty good from the left side.
With his whole arsenal, you bet. And here's a look at what he features. And Torey Alba has really, George, made a concerted effort to make him throw his other pitches?
Well, 50% of it's been fastballs, which is good. Before it was about 70 when it was 97, but he's made him believe in the slider, the changeup, and now also the curveball, but more importantly, the changeup. Not to be intimidated to throw the changeup and get outs with it.
We've seen that exact foul ball now about 3 or 4 times in the game.
Getting in, getting on the inner half of that plate.
Two outs, Prado at first. Cody Ross with a 1-2 count. So last night, Chassin with the win, another save for Rafael Betancourt. His 6th of the year.
Part of the thing that De La Rosa fights is when he doesn't execute a pitch, he gets angry with himself. And you'll see emotions on the mound you typically wouldn't like to see, because you can see it right there. And what they're trying to do is get him to take that anger out on the next pitch, on the hitter, not on himself, because his thoughts still remain with those previous couple of pitches instead of staying where he needed to be on this pitch. A lot of pitchers that, I wouldn't say a lot, but a majority of them are perfectionists. And when they don't have that perfection, it can frustrate them at times. Jim Wright doing an awfully good job of trying to control that anger and keep it on the inside, not show it emotionally out.
And a broken bat pop-up, and Tulowitzki will have it. Good inning for De La Rosa. The only downside is it took him 27 pitches. Walk, couple of strikeouts. We'll see the Rockies at Bat Rack when we return. Take a look at Trevor Cahill for the first time in 2013. Eric Young Jr. has been swinging the bat very well. He'll lead things off tonight. Here's the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. Dexter Fowler will bat second. Cargo in his traditional 3 spot. Then Tulowitzki and Kadire. Josh Rutledge tonight will bat 6th. Reed Brignac in his left-handed bat in the 7-hole. Yorvi Torrealba, Jorge De La Rosa. Trevor Cahill, one of the top sinker ballers in the game.
No question, averaging 2 outs by the ground per inning pitched. It tells you exactly what he does. 3 ball games this season, 0-2, but he's averaged at least 6 innings per start.
George, does he remind you a little of Brandon Webb?
A little bit with his delivery, body style. I mean, he really kind of has a long arm action, and a very nice rollover on it. Here's something for you to chew on at home. 10 wins and 30 starts the first 4 seasons that they were in the big leagues. They made 30 starts, they win 10 or more ball games. And you go back all the way to 1930. Cahill leads it with Sabathia, Teddy Higuera, Tom Seaver, and Larry Jensen.
High fly ball to deep right center field, way back, and what a catch by Pollock. What a catch by A.J. Pollock.
Well, to think about it too, running through the rain as it has started here at Coors Field, keeping his focus looking up into the rain. It's all about getting a break. They're going to pitch him away, so he was shaded in left center, takes the run, checks his right fielder, the Ross, and then jumps into the wall and makes the catch. You talk about concentration and focus, because that's an easy triple for EY.
Heck, George, that kicks off the wall with Ross right there and goes about, say 20, 30 feet away from him. It may be an inside the park job because EY was around second already.
And unfortunately, we're never going to know because of that catch and that play right there. Got it. Outfielders, and particularly infielders too, but outfielders really like to make a great play and see the guy running it. No, oh, by the way, I mean, again, they take a lot of pride in their defense, particularly the center field position.
EY seniors in the house all weekend long. Tomorrow's his bobblehead day. And I guarantee that one got him out of his chair. Two and one on Dexter. Slowly hit to second. Josh Wilson throws him out. Let's take a look at the Arizona defense, brought to you by Excel Energy. Make choices that fit your life, and Excel will provide you the energy to power it. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Pollock, Alfredo Marte in left, and Cody Ross in right. Prado at third, Cliff Pennington at short tonight, Wilson Goldschmidt, and Will Nieves, 35-year-old veteran backup catcher. Last year, spent a good portion of the year with the Rockies before being picked up off of waivers by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good guy, really good guy.
And the other side of that, they signed Rod Barajas in spring training, so it was a battle between these two guys, and I'm really happy for Will that he won that battle to get the backup position, because Montero's typically going to catch in the 130 to 140 range.
Yeah, he doesn't miss much, does he? Cargo 1 for 5 lifetime against Cahill. Here's the 2-0. It's 3-0. Cargo has great numbers against his former club. However, we pointed this out last night, he's been a little funk of late. Just 1 for 20 against Arizona pitching, dating to last year, and a 4-pitch walk. And that will allow Tulo to swing the bat here in the first inning. He's not afraid of Coors Field, Cahill.
Well, because he throws such a hard sinker, there's no reason for him to be afraid of Coors Field. And if you look at that graphic, it would explain a lot of it. 3 here versus the Rockies at Coors Field. 1-1, 344. Otherwise, not very good. Right-handed hitters have had fits with Cahill this year. They've hit just 188 against him. And a lot of it is that hard diving sinker that's in the inner half. As a hitter, you really have to clear that front side against guys like him and get it out of the way in order to keep the ball in fair territory.
Troy takes a strike. He ambushed Ian Kennedy in the middle innings last night. He got a fastball in, got a barrel out, and a line shot home run. That ended a scoreless duo between Ian Kennedy and Jolie Chassis, and the Rockies on their way to a 3-1 victory. Tula with 7 go-ahead RBIs, most in Major League Baseball. And this is punched through the right side. No, getting over there and making the play is Josh Wilson. He was swung way up the middle. And off the bat, you thought it would sneak through. It did not. We'll go to the second, scoreless. The Honey Smoked Fish Company, Secrets in the Fire. It's a ready-to-eat superfood. Jenny, how you doing?
Well, I'm getting rained on a little bit here, but that's quite all right.
Oh, you're not going to melt. Go ahead.
I won't. You're exactly right. Well, today marks the 35th time that Jorge De La Rosa and Yorvi Torrealba have paired up as battery mates. So to say that the catcher knows his pitcher well is an understatement.
We've been, I don't know, talking almost it seems like every day for the last few years. I mean, and even when we play against each other, we still talk and then talk sometimes about baseball, sometimes, you know, off the field. Our relationship out there on the field, I mean, he really believes in me, he really trusts me, and I do the same.
Yorvi Torrealba and Jorge De La Rosa have obviously been matched up for every single one of De La Rosa's starts so far this season, and Torrealba told me he really enjoys that, you know, as he's been a catcher for so many years, coming into the clubhouse, he prepares for every game as if he might play, but he knows on the days that De La Rosa will be on the mound, he can prepare to be a starter. Guys?
All right, Jenny, that's a comfort knowing, okay, I definitely know I'm working this day, don't have to check the lineup. And I think it gives De La Rosa some comfort knowing who he's working with. This is Alfredo Marte, good fastball hitter, and he gets an off-speed pitch, but he drives it to right center field. That's all right. Dexter got a great jump on it. And one out. That'll bring up Will Nieves. Will's been around for a while now, 35-year-old from Puerto Rico. Grew up in San Juan. Hit .298 last year in 16 games with the Rockies, including a home run. Ground of Michael Kadire, 2 outs.
The newly renovated warning track offers a unique view of the ball game and a great party package that includes food and soft drinks. And it is a great place to go watch the game. A lot of people in there tonight watching the ball game. You see they've kind of built those stands in there. It's all been redone. I mean, it's pretty nice. When you talk about ticket to the ballpark, you get some food and drink, all for $100 per person. 303 Rockies for more information.
Josh Wilson takes ball one. The guy who spent time in the Rockies organization. Nine for 21 in his career against Rockies pitching, 2-0. And a bouncing ball to third. Brignac on the move. Good inning for De La Rosa. Economical that inning in terms of pitches utilized. Middle of 2, no score. Will lead things off. Josh Rutledge and Reed Brignac will follow against Trevor Cahill. Who wants tacos? George, pay attention. Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Kadire brings a .365 average into the yard tonight. Chatting up Will Nieves as he steps in. 3 home runs. He's driven in a dozen. Going back to last year, the Rockies now have won 11 straight at home. First pitch strike. Here's the longest home winning streaks in Rockies history. They've had 2 of this length. Back in that's weird. June of '94 through July of '94. That would be really long. It went for 2+ years. And then 11 games going back to late last year. So if they win tonight, they will have their new longest winning streak of all time. There it is, all in 1994. Little typo. Two balls, 2 strikes on Kadire. Ball's in, 3-2. strike 3, inside corner.
Well, I tell you what, that's kind of like that backup slider, and it's because of the way it was caught by Nieves. He really had to slide out. They wanted outside corner, ran right back to the inside corner. Was a strike.
Rutledge swings through it. A couple home runs for Rutledge. He's driven in 5, primarily hitting second, except on the days that Eric Young plays and Dexter Fowler plays, and Dex hits behind Ewok. Wanted a hard sinker in. He bounced it 1 and 2. Rockies continue to lead the National League in hitting at 289. Lead the National League in runs scored with 96. Count goes full 3 and 2. The Giants at 270. They're not pitching that well. The Giants struggling on the hill. And ball 4.
Good at bat by Rutledge.
Yeah, I'm glad we kind of alluded to the pitching stats. Do you know right now, George, in terms of pitching in the National League, the Rockies at home have an ERA. Think about this. At home, 7 games, a 2.53 team ERA at home, which is 4th best in the National League.
Yeah, but the other 3 in front of them aren't pitching here. These guys have done a tremendous job here at Coors Field.
Yeah. And people will say, well, the weather's been lousy. It's been freezing. Well, the Rockies are putting up a lot of runs, though. They're hitting.
Yeah, the other side's hitting okay. The opposition hasn't. Credit should be given where it should be, and that's right here with this Rockies pitching staff. And yeah, hats off to Jimmy Wright. He's done a good job with these starting guys, and the bullpen's performed very well.
Brignac with a 1-0 count. There's big Jim Wright out of Peoria, Illinois. Bradley University. Get back.
Cahill's got a very quick move with his feet, similar to Jamie Wright. I mean, it's a very quick footwork and then an accurate throw to first. You got to be careful.
Nieves a strong arm.
That's why he's in the big leagues, catch and throw guy.
Cahill is about league average in the 1-3 range. There goes Rutledge to the plate, and this ball's driven to right. Rutledge will get a stop sign at third. He almost ran through it, and now they got him hung up. He's got to get to the plate. Nope. And a bad throw by Nieves, and Rutledge will score. Brignac at second base. The Rockies catch a big break.
A really big break with Rutledge coming around the bag at third. It was kind of a late holdup by Cole. I think he was trying to decide to see if the cutoff was going to go to second or was it coming to the plate, because the throw in to second base, and watch this again. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. All right, Rutledge is off and running. The ball's down. He's coming into third base. Stu's looking over, and he holds him up, but when he got back with the slick ground in the rain right now, didn't work out. Nieves, a costly mistake. I also think, too, with the third baseman, Prado really came in and made the throw very close between him and Rutledge, which made it more difficult. Let's go back and look at this cutoff throw again. Right, it's coming straight at him. Now, when you get this run down, you always want to run them back to the base they came from, particularly at third base. You want to run them home. But as close as Martin was to the runner and then his alignment to the runner. He was straight in line with him, something you don't normally like to see. Torrealba, good job this year, 2 for 4 with the runner in scoring position, gets a slider to go 0-2.
So it's a single. Brignac moved up on the throw, and obviously Rutledge scored on the error by Nieves. RBI out there, but a 2-strike count for Torrealba with the pitcher on deck and 1 out. This is why players will tell you you've hit in the 8 spot. Jeff Houston has spoken a lot about this in broadcast. It's difficult. Sometimes you're doing everything you can to flip the lineup over, get the pitcher up there. In this case, with an RBI out there and 1 out, you may expand your zone trying to drive in a run, knowing that, you know, it's not as great a likelihood the guy behind you will be able to do it with 2 outs.
Right, exactly. That's what you do. You may chase some things, just try to hit the ball into right center field too, but you chase that breaking ball in the dirt.
2-2, so now Torrealba works himself back in the count against Trevor Cahill. He's coming off a really good performance, a no decision against the Dodgers, but he went 7 1/3 shutout innings against LA. The ball game Arizona eventually won 1-0. Reed Brignac, pretty good speed at second base. Outfield tilted toward right center. Here's the 2-2. And this could be a problem. Cahill barehands at the throw just in time. It's a good play by Trevor Cahill. He doesn't pick that up cleanly. It's going to be an infield hit for Torrealba. Rockies fans, this season we want to answer your questions on air during Toyota Talk. Text Toyota followed by your question to 720-720. First-time texters are automatic winners in the 5th inning and will receive 1 free day pass to the Denver Zoo, courtesy of your neighborhood Toyota stores, who invite you to visit the amazing animals at the Toyota Elephant Passage. 2 outs. Brignac at third and De La Rosa at the plate. That would be a grand time for his first hit of the year. And this one sliced to short. And Cliff Pennington with a throw up the line, but the tag made by Goldschmidt. Rockies get a run, a walk, a hit, and an error. And the Rockies have a 1-0 lead as we go to the 3rd. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Fusion. Quality you want, power you deserve. Ford Fusion, go further. By the Honey Smoked Fish Company, secrets in the fire. It's a ready-to-eat superfood. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. Rockies picked off a run last inning. They'll take a 1-0 lead to the top of the third inning. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jenny Cavnar, Jorge De La Rosa will face Cliff Pennington, the Arizona shortstop this night, and then the pitcher Trevor Cahill. Pennington takes a strike. Veteran switch hitter. Former #1 pick of the A's back in 2005 out of Texas A&M. He was a third-team All-American for the Aggies. Texas kid through and through, born and raised in Corpus Christi. De La Rosa is a native of Mexico, but makes his primary home in Arizona. Pulled to third. Nice pickup, Reed Brignac. That's why they call it the hot corner, right, George?
Yeah, well, you know, they say it's about reaction, but it's also about sometimes you don't have time to do anything but just try to stand there and pick it. And you hope you find some leather. Strong throw over to Michael Kadire at first.
That'll bring up big Trevor Cahill. 6'4", 225 pounds. And Cahill takes a strike. Considering it's overcast, chilly, pretty good Saturday night crowd making their way in.
Well, really nice crowd. Look at the rock pile up on the third deck. Some groups here at the ballpark tonight. Nice to see.
Yeah, pretty good walk-up, I would imagine, George, with the people looking in the paper and every day they're seeing.
Catching the fever.
Yeah.
Get the fever.
12-4. Little heater by him. It's 2-2. A.J. Pollock on deck. Cahill did bite. It's 3-2.
And it was off the plate and up in the upper half of the strike zone, too.
Chad Fairchild. 2 outs. That's the third strikeout for De La Rosa.
Let's take a look at the grips that De La Rosa uses on all of his pitches. And the first one I'm going to show you, it's going to end up in a group of 4. But it's the 4-seam fastball. This is the one he'll live and die with for the majority of the time. You've seen the changeup. That's a circle change because, why? You see the circle right here. And then what you're trying to find when you throw a curveball, you're going to put the ball farther back into the hand. So you want to be able to get completely over the baseball, so you have that strength. Well, base hit by AJ. He's made a nice play in the center field. Now comes up with a base hit in the second at bat. But when you're throwing the curveball, you want to be able to have something that your hand is going to rest against right here. And that's what that is there. That seam is allowing that middle finger so he can pull forward on it. And then on the slider, which is a pitch you throw a little bit harder, you try to offset. In other words, if you look at this baseball, it's not evenly split with his finger pressure. So obviously less ball out here, it allows you to, when you get out over the top of that, to put the hard cut and slide on the baseball.
Martin Prado walked his first time up. That's the first hit for Arizona. 2-0, and here goes Jorvit to the mound.
At times, Jorvit does a very good job of challenging a pitcher. And you can go out to the mound and make your point and get after it because he's the one receiving everything. He can see things you're not maybe feeling as a pitcher. But he might walk out there and say, it's cold, it's rainy, and I'm tired of being out here. Make a pitch and let's go to the house.
Runner going, and the throw to second is going to get A.J. Pollock. Great throw by Torrealba. First guy he has cut down in 2013, and that ends the third inning with the Rockies ahead 1-0.
The Diamondbacks 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. Eric Young Jr. due up to bat this inning, and in fact today he started his brand new community project. He's teaming up with the Denver Public Library and Volunteers of America. It's a program called Stealing Some Smarts. It's a public literacy event that Eric Young goes and he reads to kids and adults. He's going to have about 6 events throughout the course of the summer in Denver and the Colorado region. He had a lot of fun today at the Blair Caldwell African American Research Library. Eric Young Jr. is very passionate about reading, and in fact today I asked him what his favorite children's book was. He said The Cat in the Hat. Guys, what's yours?
Well, I'll tell you after this, because EY was a little perturbed that A.J. Pollock caught his first would-be triple. So this time he said, I'm going to hit it where you definitely can't catch it. And that was for his pops, I guarantee it, because he was looking up toward the sweet level, George. That was for Dad.
Well, it's kind of a double sword for him. You know, he's playing against the Arizona Diamondbacks who let his father go. He's an icon here in the Denver area. So, you know, you don't want to say you got revenge, but you're also kind of saying, hey, I'm going to do a little damage against my pop's former club to let him go as a coach. And I'm going to do it. And they robbed him the first time. You're not going to rob this one. EY looking up, seeing the ball hit the ground, and then, man, look at the afterburners here. He's going to head to the house. They actually had a pretty good relay throw system coming in, but EY ahead of it.
Their little message for Dad. And George, I think you're right on the money. Listen, nobody likes to get relieved of their duties. EY, coach with Arizona the last couple of years, let go by Kirk Gibson at the conclusion of last season.
But it's family, man. I mean, you don't like seeing Dad have something like that happen to him. Fowler's had success against Cahill, 4 for 6. Just get the ball in the air here deep enough with the speed of EY. You got a pretty good chance of getting another run out of this thing.
Just get it in the middle of the field on the ground, and you're going to get a run. The infield's back. EY, by the way, 8 for his last 18. And had A.J. Pollock not made that wonderful grab in the bottom of the first inning, Junior would have a couple of triples tonight. He's hit the ball, George, about 800 feet this evening.
And he's only got to run 270.
That's right. And there's Dad on the left. There's Dallas in the middle. That's EY Senior's son. And I'll tell you what, that kid's going to be mayor, whatever city he grows up
Boy,
in.
he is something else.
He has got a wonderful personality. What an adorable kid. That guy, Dex, he'll walk to first. And that'll bring up Cargo. 2 on, nobody out. Renee Latchman's going to come down and check on Dexter.
Not anybody, not a position you want to be envious of Cahill right now, man. I'm telling you, first and third, Cargo's up. You know, I guess Dexter got hit pretty good. Scotty Garrett's going to have to come out and check on him. Hard sinker, heavy ball. Caught him just as he started to come forward. Caught him right on the wrist. I thought the elbow, but it was more on the wrist of where it got him.
Sometimes, George, it's a process of just letting the pain dissipate a little bit.
Yeah, but then the trainers always come out and they go, is this where it hurts? Stick their thumb right on. Is it up here? No, it's down here. Oh, it's right there. They're doing their job, and they do a wonderful job here, but it cracks me up because it's like you walk into the doctor with a sprained ankle and he goes, which one is it? And they go, this one. And he goes, does it hurt when I turn it like this? Yeah, it does.
They're the guys in class where everybody else turns their head and says, ooh, I don't want to look at that. They're the ones who go, let me check that out.
Yeah, let me see that again. Can we do it again?
Here's Cargo. Dex takes off. And
what's going on? What's going on in the Evans tonight? I mean, it's almost as if he's just not picking the ball up, but there's some really, really late movement on him.
Rockies leading the National League in stolen bases. That's their 15th as a club. And for Dexter, that's his second.
Let's look at this pitch coming in because, I mean, it does have heavy sink to it, and it's not in the location that Will wanted it. He wanted the ball down and away, and then he thought it popped up off the backside of his glove.
And this will get a run home.
Stolen base prevents the double play, too.
2-0 Colorado. Well, listen, you know what? You always want to hit one in the gap or over the wall, but that's a productive at-bat. Get the run home.
You take advantage of the defense. You got a sinker ball guy on the mound. They're playing deep, so why not?
Plus, because he pulled the baseball, George, with 1 out, Dexter is at third. You have to suck the infield in. Tulo gets one in the air. Or if he hits one sharply past the drawn-in infield, the Rockies have a third run. It's hard, George, on a catcher, as we know, when a guy has a super sinker and he's bouncing, because a breaking ball, in your head, you're thinking the ball's going to be in the dirt.
Well, as a catcher,
baller, it's tough.
Well, when you get a guy that has typically his good command, and today he's missed out when they want it in, he's missed in when they wanted it out. So it's made it a little harder on the Evans to catch the baseball. First pitch, they went with the hard sinker in, and it appeared to be a slider here. They throw Tulowitzki on a 1-0 count. Be careful and don't hang it. Good hitters make pitchers amp up a little more and get out of their delivery. So when they do that, obviously the ball gets hung up in the strike zone. And that time Cahill tried to overamp that slider, and very poorly location and thrown.
And this is in the air to left field. Marte's out there, and here comes Dex. Here comes the throw. It is offline. 3-0 Colorado. Good situational at bats. Productive outs by Cargo and Tulowitzki, and the Rockies have a 3-0 advantage. Speed guys get on, George.
Well, the triple really loaded things up the way they're supposed to be for everyone, and then Dexter, you know, steals second base. You take away double plays. You take away a lot of the opportunity to shut down an inning.
He's playing the game the right way. It's not always going to be the 3-run home run, 3 doubles and a couple of singles, line drives all over the yard. Sometimes you have to win by manufacturing runs, especially facing good arms. Cahill's got a good arm.
3 hits or less yesterday. I mean, it's only happened 4 times in the history of the ball club. You get a win. Today they got 2 hits up on the board, and you're in the 3rd inning, bottom of the 3rd. You got 3 runs up. Take advantage of miscues. Take advantage of opportunities when presented.
One and 2 on Kadire. Cargo with his 10th RBI, and Tulowitzki with 16 ribbies. Now, 203rd in the National League in RBIs, behind John Buck of the Mets and Brandon Phillips of the Reds. To 3rd up the line, and this is a long throw and a perfect throw by Prado. That's as fine a play as you will see going up the line and making the long jump throw. Martin Prado takes an infield hit away from Michael Kadire, but the Rockies get a leadoff triple from Eric Young. They end up with a couple of runs. They have a 3-0 lead. Two, 3, and 4 for the Diamondbacks against Jorge De La Rosa. AT&T trivia question reads this way on a Saturday night. The Rockies won a franchise best, have won a franchise best 7 straight at home to start the season. What's the major league record for consecutive home wins to begin a campaign? Martin Prado walked his first time up. He was at the plate last inning when A.J. Pollock was cut down by Torey Alba. That's a first pitch strike at 89 on the outside corner. So, George, we were talking about ERA at home for the Rockies. In 2011, they had the lowest, or the highest ERA at home, that's kind of typical. Look at it. Rockies had a 471, which was last in the National League. Last year, they were last in the National League, but here's the difference. 471 at home in 2011. Last year, it was 597, almost a 6 ERA at home.
But also calculate the walks in and create a lot of that. Young pitching staff, a lot of walks, base hits, didn't make the pitches. Now you got a veteran guys that make pitches.
Yeah, I don't care how good your offense is. It's hard to win when you have a 6 ERA at home. This year, again, small sample size, but a 253.
But again, everybody's healthy. 3/5 of a rotation that wasn't here a year ago, really 4/5. It wasn't here.
This ball's pretty well
strong
hit.
Guy, too.
Dexter is going to get back and make the catch on Goldschmidt. And now Prado trying to move up, sneak attack. Out at second base. Why would you do that? Down by 3 runs. Rutledge turned around. He said, really?
Well, it's that aggressive style of Prado, but that time it's going to come back and really bite him. Teams have tried this in the past when you get an outfielder that is going backwards catching the ball, and that's what Dexter was. Short, quick throw. What made all this work was he hit Rutledge. You know, so many times that one hops into the outfield, Rutledge snap throw right on the money to Tulowitzki, picked it in the out.
It's 2 outs on the bases in the last inning. Jorge De La Rosa says thanks very much. Outside corner, strike 1 on Cody Ross. And center field, here comes Dex. He's got it. He'll head to the dugout. That's a 5-pitch inning despite the single. Middle of 4, Rockies 3, and the D-backs nothing. Two-for-one Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Rockies enjoying a 3-0 lead on Arizona. Josh Rutledge, who walked and scored in the 2nd inning. Rockies' first run will lead things off in the 4th. Reed Brignac and Yorvi Torrealba will follow. Nothing on Rutledge. Rutledge hits this in the air to shallow left, and it'll drop in front of Marte, and Rutledge will have a fly ball double to lead off the fourth inning.
Well, you have one of two ways to play at Coors Field in the outfield. One, you can play deep and keep everything in front of you, or you play a little bit shallow and have the ability to go back on a baseball. That's kind of the only choices you have. But when you play deep, this is what can happen at times. He broke back on this ball. He didn't break forward. He probably catches it often underneath the glove. And for him, a double and nobody out, and the right guy at the plate. I mean, Brignac 5 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
Trying to pull the baseball here. Move Rutledge along. Brignac pulled a single to right his first time up. Rutledge was going on the pitch. Rutledge ended up getting caught in a rundown between third and home, and there was a throwing error during that rundown by Nieves that allowed Rutledge to score the first Rockies run. Bunt's going to get the job done, and Brignac makes it a close play at first. Any way you could do it. That's a really nice decision there by Brignac, and he moves another runner to third base, one out, and Torrealba coming up, and first base is open. Pitcher on deck. We'll see how Cahill and Arizona play it.
April 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's Coca-Cola Value Night. $59 or $79, depending on your seat location. The Atlanta Braves are in town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 4 tickets, hot dogs, Cokes, and a whole lot more. 303 Rockies or ColoradoRockies.com, or Rockies.com, I should say, to get those tickets.
Infield in. And a big swing and a miss from Yorvit. Ball to third. And a good play by the third baseman Prado. That holds Rutledge, and now De La Rosa up there with 2 outs. Low, 1-1. Well, he tried to hit it in the seats. Nothing wrong with that. 1-2.
Swing hard. If you hit it, something good might happen.
2-2. Foul tip held by Nieves. Leadoff double by Rutledge. He gets stranded at third base. We are through 4 frames. The Rockies lead it 3-0. Address. In the second inning, Reed Brignac with Josh Rutledge at first, running with the pitch. Pulls a base hit into the right field corner. Rutledge got a late stop sign, then he got hung up, but Will Nieves made a poor throw to Martin Prado. It went up the third base line. Rutledge comes home with the Rockies' first run. And then the next inning, the Rockies would manufacture a couple of runs. Leadoff triple by Eric Young. Dexter got hit by a pitch. Fargo, an RBI ground out. Dexter had stolen second. And then Dex moved up on the Fargo ground out. Tulo hit a scoring fly ball to left, and the Rockies had their third run. All of that brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. De La Rosa, meanwhile, 4 shutout innings. In the 5th, it'll be the rookie Alfredo Marte, who's a real good fastball hitter. Last year, he was in Mobile, Double-A affiliate of the Diamondbacks. Hit .295 there with 20 home runs, and he drove in 75. His best season as a minor leaguer. And here's the 1-0 to the 24-year-old. Hits it on the ground at third. Brignac across to Kadire. And that'll bring up Will Nieves. It's our Toyota Talk inning. See what kind of questions we get. Would you please explain what the Mendoza line is? Yeah, Karen, Mario Mendoza was a player back
we called
in
him
the
Mario.
70s.
We all called him Mario.
And he actually, in his career, hit .215. He was a good fielder.
He was. He could really pick it.
Really good fielder, but he wasn't much of a hitter. And so I forget who came up with the line originally, but if you're hitting below...
I think it was Bill Madlock.
Below, the hitman, he got a lot of hits. But if you're hitting below where Mario is hitting, they called it the Mendoza line, and then it just became the 200 barrier. So if you're hitting below 200, they call that the Mendoza line.
What a way to be remembered.
Yeah, and it's stuck now. Here we are 30 plus years later. And Mario Mendoza infamous. 2-0 on Will Nieves. And that's in there. Georgie, your favorite place to hurl?
A couple of places. One was obviously Yankee Stadium, and the other was St. Louis. Love to pitch in St. Louis. As a Cardinal, not as a Cub.
Two and two on Nieves.
You know, I always kind of like going to the rowdy places on the road. Like Kansas City was really good in the 80s when I was with the Yankees, so you had a lot of rivalry there, playoff fights and all that kind of stuff going on. So it was fun to go into Kansas City because it was almost like a football-type atmosphere for 3 or 4 days. Same thing at Fenway when you go in as a member of the Yankees.
Two and two on Nieves. Change-ups away, 3 and 2. Is there any update on Chassin's injury from last night? Here's the update. We discussed this earlier. They believe, and this is good news, that Jolis's injury is not to his oblique, but it's more in the area he was suffering some back spasms during spring training. He's being checked out this evening by the Rockies' excellent orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Tom Noonan. And he'll have a precautionary MRI, which is pretty standard these days with any kind of injury. It's very likely he's going to miss his next start, but we'll have more information in the next 24 to 48 hours. But when we heard, George, early this afternoon that it was probably back and not oblique, not side injury, boy, that
best case scenario.
That was good news. Inside, ball 4. So Nieves with 1 out will go to first, and Josh Wilson will come up. Is Jason Giambi playing for anybody? He's playing for Cleveland. He hit a home run. Was it yesterday or the day before, Dougie? A couple days ago, he hit a home run. He was on the DL initially.
But he's got a home run and 5 RBIs tonight.
Is that right?
Tonight.
He's got a big night going on.
Yeah, well, really bet the score's 18-6 Cleveland.
Well, George, they got to get a new kicker because they're missing a bunch of extra points.
Oh, I'm sorry, Houston.
It'll be a long year. They're in transition down in Houston.
De La Rosa spreading it up pretty evenly. 4 ground ball, 4 fly balls, 3 strikeouts. A couple of base on balls. That last base on ball, really, really upsetting.
Ball and a strike. Brandon Phillips off to a great start. Well, looks like Freddie Freeman will be back just in time to take on the Rockies, and Freddie Freeman
I hope he
beat up the Rockies last year.
Hoping he misses the flight.
There'll be some bad weather in Atlanta.
Maybe you send a limousine to pick him up and you go to Lyman.
That's
go
an
east.
idea.
East on 70. What do you think?
You go pick him up in that limo.
No, don't think I wouldn't.
I know you would. That's why I suggested it. Come on, Freddie, buckle in. It's a long drive.
Yeah. Relax. Don't worry about it.
And a nice pick by Tulowitzki to Rutledge to first. A pick by Kadire. Oh, you gotta love it. What a beautiful turn. 6-4-3. Doesn't get any finer than that. 3-0 Rockies. Is worthy of one more look. This ball's hit well up the middle. Tulowitzki does well to get there, and then the lead for Rutledge, and he's got to get something on the throw and then hop out of the way. And how about the pick at first by the right fielder, Kadire?
It's all about staying relaxed with your hands is what it is, and that's what Kadire did on the whole deal. I think that ball caught the side of the mound, kicked a little bit towards Tulowitzki, or he doesn't make that play.
I know number 17's pretty proud in that dugout of Kadire. Michael's so versatile. I mean, kidding about him being, right fielder playing first. He's played second in the big leagues. He's played third in the big leagues. Here's EY. Triple his last time up. At the very top of the strike zone, that changeup was in there. And he was robbed of perhaps another triple back in the first inning on a ball that Pollock caught up against the right center field wall. This is a little comebacker. And EY flying up the line. One out. Always good for kids to see that, George. Doesn't matter. Come back. You're disappointed. You're going to be out 99.9% of the time. You can still bust it.
Effort doesn't take a day off. It's not hard.
You played with a guy, George, that I used to love watching because it did not matter offensively or defensively. It was 110%. You know where I'm going with this. Sean Dunston.
Played hard every game. Every play in the field.
In the air, center field.
Well, I'd like to take this time very quickly to thank you for texting in your question to Toyota Talk. For more answers to your questions, visit Root Sports Facebook page at facebook.com/rootsports. Where our Hall of Famer, Tracy Ringlesby, will answer a bonus Toyota Talk question before the end of the ball game. Tracy, Huey, what's up, boys?
It's the Wyoming connection.
Yeah, no kidding. Tracy, wave. Oh, well, he's locked down, trust me. He is figuring something out on numbers in baseball. One of the guys in the game that really spends a lot of time studying the game.
Cargo 12 for his last 25 at the plate. 0 for 1, a ribby and a walk. Cargo had an RBI ground out in the third. Rockies up 3-0. Two and one. And Cargo laces it foul out in front of that changeup. That's just smart. He's nowhere near the coaching box on the first base line.
Not his first rodeo. He's done this a few times.
Manager of the Marlins.
Yeah, remember he coached third base when he was in Oakland. And at coaching third base was when Canseco and McGuire were both there. So you learn to have quick feet way down the left field line. A little dodgeball going on, but he's far enough back and 120 feet from the back.
And this ball's hammered to right field and deep, and it is past Cody Ross. It'll be a stand-up 2-out double for Cargo.
Somebody different all the time, but Cargo pretty consistent with the way he has swung the bat on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. You'll take a look again at this pitch coming in. Really trying to rotate that slider and bring it from the outside to the corner. It just gets right out into the middle of the plate, shy of being a soft trip around the bases. He does end up at second, and now it's Tulowitzki's turn to drive in another one. He's driven in one earlier in the ball game, back in the seventh or the third, with a fly ball to left field.
6 doubles now for Cargo, one off the league lead. He's been swinging it well against Arizona of late, going back to last season, first part of the season. 394 average over his last 9. Still a career average below 240. Asked him not too long ago about Chase Field, great offensive park. He said, don't ask me about Chase Field. I can't hit there. It's happening. He'll turn that around. There's just an overall calm with every position player this year. Sometimes guys they want to get off to that great start. You can see him visibly press. You haven't seen that with any guy in the Rockies lineup.
Why? I point to Dante Bichette.
I point to both Bichette, absolutely, his demeanor, and I also point to Walt Weiss, his demeanor.
Well, I think with Dante on the offensive side of things, Dante is one of those guys that makes a lot of notes, feels like he can talk, he will, and that guy's sitting right there next to him. Vinny Castillo in these home games has played an important role along with Dante in communicating what they need to get done. They make it a lot of fun.
Frazier, we were talking about it last night. How nice is it if you're a position player, you have an AB, you say, hey, what did I do there? You go over to those two guys, you kidding me?
Yeah, and you know what? Most of them at the time, and this is what you try to do. You try to erase the negative out of the mind. You had a pretty good AB. You go, well, that guy practices too. They try to catch fly balls too.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You got another 3 more bats coming. Get you a knock on the next time up. So it gives confidence back instead of all of a sudden trying to dissect 3 pitches, start putting a negative thought in a guy's mind. Well, you didn't do this with your hands or that with your hands. Hey, you put a good swing on it. Right to your next trip.
And those guys push delete as well as anybody I ever watched, George. That's in there 3 and 2. And you know what I mean by that. Bad ball game. You wouldn't know it talking to Vinny. You wouldn't know it talking to Dante. They were able to put it behind them. I mean, who knows what was happening internally, but outwardly, they handled it.
They enjoy the game. That's the key to it. And you realize I'm going to have 500 at bats. I mean, I guarantee you they're going over things right now. What do you think he'll throw? Well, I think he's going to go this. Nah, he's not doing that. He's going to do this.
In the air, left center field, Pollock and Marte, and it's Pollock. Cargo left at second. We are through 5 frames at Coors Field. The Rockies leading 3-0.
And in Boston as tragedies unfolded earlier this week in the Boston City Marathon bombings. However, today was a day of unity in Boston and an opportunity for those in the community at Fenway Park to recognize police officers and first responders, including Boston Marathon volunteers. Also, it wasn't about the Red Sox today. They wore Boston across their home uniforms. That's the first time they have ever done that. In fact, the game capped off in a winning way for Boston as Daniel Nava hit a 3-run home run. Boston eventually won it 4-3. It was a neat pregame ceremony indeed to recognize the city and those who risked their own lives to save others. And today we in Colorado also want to remember the tragedy that shook our community and nation 14 years ago. Columbine High School, we will never forget. Guys?
No, we will never forget. Great ceremony at Fenway Park today, as you described, Jenny. And those jerseys, which were made especially, basically in the last 24 hours for today's ball game at Fenway Park, will be autographed and auctioned off. And the proceeds will go, we understand it, to the victims' families in Boston. 3-0 here in the top of the 6th inning on Cliff Pennington. De La Rosa has fallen behind. De La Rosa working on 16 consecutive scoreless innings. Is that any good?
That is outstanding. And it's the double play. The defense have helped him a little bit in this ball game, but particularly that last double play to shut down the inning.
Line drive, gloved by Kadire. Well, when you're throwing shutout baseball, you need some glove work behind you typically. I don't care who you are. And tonight, the Rockies have provided a couple of outstanding plays to aid Jorge De La Rosa. The double play last inning, and this play by Kadire. He's flashed leather all evening.
He's done a nice job with it here. He made that pick on the double play. Now the leaping catch of the line drive.
You surprised Cahill's going to hit here in the 6th?
No, I am not. Extra inning ball game the other day. The guy's pitch count is fairly low. Allow him to go one more time through. 76 pitches through 5, so I mean, he's pretty much right on schedule.
And it's still a close ball game, 3-run game at Coors Field.
Plus the other factor I think that they're waiting on as far as Arizona would be concerned. De La Rosa is still in the ball game and only throwing 75 pitches. He's here in the 6th inning. But there you look over at the bench of the Arizona Diamondbacks, everybody's left-handed. You got a guy on the mound who's throwing fairly well. You know what? I'll save until maybe they switch over that bullpen area of the Rockies and go to a right-hander. Now I can start to substitute some of the other guys in.
2 outs, A.J. Pollock. He has one of the 2 hits tonight allowed by De La Rosa. The only other 2 base runners, a first-inning walk to Prado. And then Nieves walked in the 5th inning. He was erased on that terrific 6-4-3 double play. One and one on Pollock. If you have auto glass damage, call Safelight Auto Glass. The number is 303-287-5000. Safelight.com is where you will find them online. This ball game, George, somewhat similar to last night. The Rockies had a 3-0 lead around this juncture of the game, but not a lot of hits. And last night they finished with 3 hits. Right now they have 3 on the board with just 4 hits.
No matter how many you get or how you get them, just take them. Unless they played small ball to get 1 run. Or to get a couple of runs, I should say, in the 3rd.
Yeah, there's some cynics who said, well, you know, the Rockies, you know, we tip our cap. They're off to a nice start. But who have they beaten? They beat the Padres 6 times. They beat Milwaukee. Well, Milwaukee just swept the Dodgers.
So what?
Or the Giants, excuse me. San Diego just swept the Dodgers. And the Mets team that they swept came in 3 games over 500 in the early going. You beat who's in front of you. You can't worry about what they've done, what they're going to do. You play them that day. This Diamondback team came into the series at 9-6. They stand obviously at 9-7 now. Here's the 3-2. Swung on and missed. And De La Rosa has his 4th strikeout of the ball game as he gets Pollock for the 2nd time. safely through the 6th inning. He continues throwing shutout baseball. 3-0 Rockies. We'll lead it off for Colorado. Let's take a look again at the AT&T trivia question. What's the record for consecutive home games won to begin a season for any club? The Rockies have won 7 straight at home to begin the 2013 campaign. The Dodgers in 2009 won their first 13 at Dodger Stadium. "65 times since 1900, a team has won its first 7+ at home. Rockies trying to make it 8 straight. Kadire caught looking and then robbed of a hit on a great play by Martin Prado. Went to the backhand right over the bag and then a jump throw. This ball's well hit left field. Get up and get out! Home run, Michael Kadire. Make it 4-0.
Went to another route, the curveball, and when he did, he hung it about chest high, and a good read by Kadire just exploded on this baseball.
Number 4 for the Cuddy man.
You see Cahill kind of hitting him in the side of the head, like, what were you thinking about? What did I do?
He got him out on the front side a little bit, George, but he still barreled it.
Yeah, well, look where this pitch is, too, though. I tell you, that's not too much front side. I mean, he had some big-time extension out on the front, which created more bat speed that carried it out.
Rutledge a double his last time up, takes a sinker inside.
See, watch that leg get out. See those hands stay back, and then that long, long swing creates a lot more bat speed and carry on the baseball. A little Walt Reniak swing on that.
This ball driven to deep center field by Rutledge, and it's going to die shy of the track. A long out. First out in the 6th inning. Reed Brignac, a single and a sac bunt. Cuddy man can. 4th big fly for Michael Kadire. He's driven in 13 this year. Little boy in the background you see there is Brock Weiss, the youngest of Walt's boys. And Brignac rolls one to Goldschmidt, 2 outs. Rosa going out to the on-deck circle. Torrealba will face Cahill with 2 outs. Rockies up 4-0. Run in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, and now the home run here in the 6th by Kadire. outside, ball one on your V. Cahill in his career 1-3, a 5.65 ERA against the Rockies, but he's always pitched pretty well here. He's got a 3.44 ERA here.
Well, if you thought he'd think about it, 4 runs given up in Coors Field on typical nights, you'd have a pretty close ball game. It's a 4-0 ball game. You pitch well at Coors if you give up 4 or less. He's probably going to end up near that with 2 outs here. Torrealba up and the pitcher up next.
Kirk Gibson, 3rd full year as the manager of the Diamondbacks. A couple years ago, he was the manager of the year in the National League. Actually, the Rockies, George, are trying to do what the Diamondbacks did a couple years ago. And the Diamondbacks, and that's ball 4, a walk, and Torrealba will clear Jorge De La Rosa here. Jorge's going to get a call back to the dugout. Jorge's going to be done after 6 shutout innings.
That's
the
what
Rockies will go to Jordan Pacheco.
It's what you want to try to accomplish as a manager. Turn this thing into a 6-inning ball game. De La Rosa not real happy about leaving the ball game. You did your job.
To keep competing, so Jordan will hit for De La Rosa, and Escalona is up in the Rockies bullpen. De La Rosa threw 82 pitches. The Rockies are going to be very mindful, George. They're not worried about 75 pitches anymore, but they are looking at the long haul, and you're still talking about a guy that returned late last year from Tommy John surgery.
Missed a year and a half of baseball. You're not going to push the envelope. He hadn't been stretched out beyond, 30 innings.
Exactly. Rockies up 4-0 on the Kadire blast. We'll go to the 7th. Cam. This is one of the prettier double plays you will see. This by Tulowitzki getting the baseball. Rutledge has to catch it, turn blindly, hop out of the way, and he got the good pick at first from Michael Kadire. Well done on all ends. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. We turn the page to the 7th inning. It's the Keystone combo for the Rockies. Edgemer, Escalona is on the mound now after 6 more shutout innings from De La Rosa. 17 shutout innings now that Jorge has weaved together.
2-hit shutout. That's what I like about it. Only 2 hits given up on it. Escalona has not been scored upon in 4 of his outings. 4 of the 5 outings. 9 in the third. 6 hits. He struck out 5. He's walked 1. An earned run average of 1.93.
Two, 3, and 4 here in the 7th inning. Martin Prado, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Ross. First pitch is a strike. I was starting to say what the Rockies are trying to do is what Gibson and the Diamondbacks did, George, a couple years back. You recall in 2010, they were dreadful. They won 65 games, lost 97. They finished in last place in the NL West. Sound familiar? Obviously, the Rockies had that kind of year last year, winning 64 and losing 98. The very next year, the Diamondbacks went from worst in the division to first, winning 94 games. An improvement of 29 games. The Rockies would like to write a similar story.
Well, absolutely you would. And again, it's going to come down to health and how healthy you can stay. You can't lose 2 to whiskey as they did a year ago for 100+ ball games. Cargo for 47. Todd for over 40 ball games. 3/5 or 4/5 of your rotation was not here. Everybody stays healthy. It'll make the job for Walt Weiss a heck of a lot easier to manage this team when you have those kind of components running around.
1-2 on Prado. A walk and a single. He reached twice. Strike 3. Escalona fans Prado, who's chewing on Chad Fairchild right now. That was right there. You look at the 4 strikes on him. That was entirely in the strike zone.
It's on a hard slider that backed up. You know, it's the only thing, I mean, for me, it's there, but obviously, Prado thought it was low.
Goldschmidt tonight, a strikeout and a fly ball to center field. 0-2, 95 miles an hour. Gasoline. Great words through the years, George, to describe great fastballs. This is high in the air to right center field. Blue-Eyes got it. You have a personal favorite? He's throwing aspirin up there.
Radio ball. I could hear it. I never did see it.
It's pretty good.
Follow the Rockies on your phone or iPad with MLB.com at Bat13, featuring pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and a whole lot more. Go to Rockies.com to get more information. Half moon ball. Gossage threw one of those. See the top of the ball, not the bottom. Came at you so hard, it was unbelievable. Of course, the old favorites, dead red. High octane.
One strike on Cody Ross. 2 hits tonight for Arizona. Single by Pollock with 2 outs in the 3rd. Prado a leadoff single in the 4th. Again, De La Rosa, 6 more shutout innings on the heels of 6 shutout innings in San Diego. And after the first inning home run in San Francisco from Hunter Pence, he threw 5 shutout innings at AT&T. So 17 consecutive scoreless innings. And strike 3. And somebody got tossed. I don't know if it's Ross. Yeah, it's Ross. Here comes Gibby. Ross in the face of Fairchild. And now Gibby's going to go nose to nose with Chad Fairchild. That was in the zone also. And now Gibby can't even argue because he's got to keep Cody Ross from getting suspended. And now Gibby's gone. You knew that was inevitable. He was going to follow his player. Chad Fairchild has tossed out Ross, and now he's tossed out Kirk Gibson. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, trying to restore order. Four nothing Colorado. They didn't like two called strike in that inning. And the first time was Prado arguing, and there's Ross. Alan Trammell will run the club from the dugout, with Gibson being tossed as well. 4-0 Colorado, bottom of the 7th inning. Eric Young Jr. robbed of extra bases his first time up, then he tripled to dead center and hit a comebacker his last time up. Good hands with the former Tiger skipper Alan Trammell. Cahill still out there, and that pitch is inside, 2-1. Once again, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. Wonderful drive by Andre Miller with about a second and a half left to beat the Golden State Warriors 97-95 over at Pepsi Center tonight, game one of their series against the Warriors. Strike three.
They go back to look at this pitch thrown by Escalona that Fairchild called a strike. Now, from the overhead, it appears to just barely get it. And when he tossed the bat off to his shoulder on the strikeout, he flips it, then he flips the helmet, and then he's tossed. And that's kind of the equipment rule that's in all of baseball. And then Kurt gets involved in it. Cody's really upset with Fairchild. And, hey, there is an equipment toss that can get you in trouble. Now, a lot of times they just find you $100, but Gibson carried it on further onto the field with his argument. And, why would you throw him out in this situation? You see him kind of wiping the face there. He might be getting a short shower.
2 outs after Dexter grounds to Wilson. And Cargo at the plate. A walk, an RBI ground out, and a double off the wall in right field. Josh Colmenter, who appeared last night for the Diamondbacks, is throwing again tonight. Cargo's going to be safe. Wilson couldn't get it out of his glove. And I'm looking at the blow up of that bat. I haven't seen one disintegrate like that in a while. Cahill, I'm not. Did he get hit, George?
I don't think so. I think he just jumped out of the way of it. No trainers are on their way out.
You don't see, they really did a good job of changing the construction of those maple bats. All the bat companies had to.
Yeah, that looked like balsa wood off that hard sinker on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. You can really see it.
They changed how bats were dried and put together, and you don't see a bat blow up like that anymore.
Well, that's that hard sinker on the labels. What got you that? Blow up in about 3 different pieces and all big ones.
Tulowitzki, sac fly back in the third, 0 for 2 otherwise. Off the plate, ball 1. Rockies began the day in first place. That sounds good. In the National League West by 2.5 games. Cargo draws a throw. Cargo's 3 for 3 trying to swipe bases. Not a bad situation to go in here. Up by 4, 2 outs.
You didn't dance to my saxophone.
There he goes. And the throw's not going to get it. Great jump by Cargo. 4 for 4 now.
Up 4-0 and confident, and you've got to be aware of the footwork and pick by Cahill, and he picked the perfect spot to go. Takes off, never looks back at the plate area, head down like a sprinter going to the finish line, and he outruns the throw.
Bags a year ago. 3 straight 2020 seasons. Here's the 1-1. Topped up the line. That's a fair ball. And safe there. An infield hit.
Yeah, that makes up for all the line drives right at somebody.
Cargo stayed put, so it's first and second, 2 outs for Kadire.
Yeah, I mean, when this ball's hit, you're playing as deep as you are if you're Martin Prado, because you have to respect the power and you want your distance to catch the baseball. So he's got to charge in on this high hop that does stay fair right in front of the bag, and then on the fly tries to make the strong throw. Tulowitzki just outruns it.
Looking for a 2-out rally. Kadire last time up hit one in the seats in left field to give the Rockies that 4-0 advantage. What makes that home run by Kadire even more notable? Michael hits his fair share of home runs. We all know that. but prior to that home run, he was 1 for 16 lifetime against Trevor Cahill, the former Oakland Ed. Dyer saying it's time to turn the tables. It's pitch number 102 outside. 1-1. Rockies 7-3. Inside the National League West, a year ago 28-44. One and two. See, this is a guy, George, that you have to stay patient. When he throws that super sinker down where you're looking at those balls in the fourth strike zone, you can't fire at those.
When they're down in a way like that, makes it pretty difficult. It really does. Because when you do, you're just going to roll it over and turn it into a ground ball hit to the left side. Typically, you got to stay and take that pitch to the opposite field.
Two on and two outs. Here's the 1-2. Not yet.
Not really why the thinking would be that Cargo, even though your defense isn't holding you on it, you'd steal a base here with Kadire up. You got a 4-0 lead. Why run into an out? You know, you just go ahead and let it settle. Because Tulowitzki, I mean, still, even though he's running great, no sense in risking anything out like that. Doesn't make much sense. Easier way maybe just to step off was to go ahead and act as if you were putting the move on in second.
Two and two on Michael Kadire, a man of many interests. We talked about showing you his photography, Eye of Kadire. Cargo and Tulowitzki on, also a very accomplished magician.
Can you imagine when the kids go over to his house, spend the night with his kids?
Right.
Is your dad going to be home? I want to see the card tricks.
You're exactly right. 2-2. And a ground ball to short. And on the tag by Goldschmidt, Kadire is out. So Goldschmidt picking up Cliff Pennington. In the inning, there was an error and an infield hit. 2 men left on. We move to the 8th inning. The Rockies have all the runs. Escalona will begin his second inning of work after 6 beautiful innings from Jorge De La Rosa. What's next is brought to you by Century Link. Here's the pitching matchup tomorrow afternoon. From Cheyenne Mountain High School, Brandon McCarthy will make his 4th start in the Diamondback uniform. He's got an 0-2 record. 7.47 is a great plane. You don't want it as an ERA. Juan Nicasio will go for the Rockies. He's 2-0 with a 5.63 ERA. Alfredo Marte at the plate, and he takes inside ball 1. Will Nieves on deck, then Josh Wilson. Tuna.
Rex Brothers, the left-hander, warming up down in the Rockies bullpen.
And 3-0. Escalona, a couple of punch outs in a 1-2-3 7th inning. And late swing by Marte. A 94-mile-an-hour fastball, 3-2 count.
Want to be one of the early birds tomorrow. It's Eric Young's giveaway on the bobblehead. The first 20,000 are going to receive it. It's all brought to you by 850 KOA and Napa Auto Parts. By the way, it's Eric Young Sr., not Junior.
Bouncing ball to third. Brignac to Kadire.
So here's the bobblehead tomorrow. You'll be able to get if you're one of the first 20,000 into the yard tomorrow.
Okay. So part of the 20th anniversary celebration.
Absolutely, and this is cargo.
He didn't play in '93.
No, but you can go pick this up if you would like to, and you can buy this. And of course, all the money goes to the Colorado Rockies Charity Fund. So
now, if you're not,
it's a great cause.
A great cause, and if you're not one of the first 20,000 tomorrow, you can go to the dugout stores. The EY bobblehead will be available there.
And the stand. The unique stand will be there, too, if you want to buy that.
Right. Where you can get a complete set, collector stand, at Rockies.com/bobble. All proceeds, as George mentioned, benefit the Rockies Charity Fund. And it's great to see, it was great to see Eric Young during spring training working as a special instructor.
Well, he needs to be in uniform somewhere. I mean, doing something. And I think saw him obviously spend fantasy camp with him down there. He's working for Houston now as a pre and post analyst on their television show down in Houston.
Two and one on Nieves. Rockies are 68 and 63 at Coors Field all time against Arizona, but they have struggled down in Phoenix. Arizona leads the all-time series 147-113. This is a base hit up the middle for Nieves. Just their third hit of the ball game and their first hit since the 4th inning when Prado led off with a single. Here we are in the 8th inning. Auto glass damage, call Safelite Auto Glass, America's vehicle glass experts. 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Eric Chavez, the former A veteran, terrific third baseman, Six-time Gold Glove winner. Part of the veteran bench for Kirk Gibson, along with Eric Hinsky. He's going to pinch hit here for Wilson.
Well, Chavez has been playing quite a bit, actually. 10 ball games, 31 at bats so far. He's got 4 RBIs, hitting .226.
And Chavez fouls it off. We were talking about Eric Young being involved, Eric Young Sr. being involved with spring training. So is Pedro Estacio. And my eldest son's on the left, and his buddy Austin, and then that's Pedro's middle son, Pedro Estacio's middle son. George is circled a little bit off. That's a foul ball. He plays on the Arapahoe baseball team with those guys. Great kid. And his dad this spring involved with the Rockies as an instructor, which was good to see. Pedro Estacio, one of the all-time tough guys the Rockies have had.
All young Latin players are going to respect Pedro, not only what he did here, but in the Dodger uniform with the ball clubs that he's had very good success with.
One-two on Chavez. His ball's hit well to right, and this is going to get on that. 2-run home run, a pinch hit home run for Eric Chavez, and now Arizona is just down by 2.
It appeared to be a slider, and on the downward side where he could just drop the head on it. I mean, this is a veteran guy that knows how to handle the bat. His first home run as a pinch hitter. Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo dropped the head. That's exactly what happened. He actually went out and got it. Strong man swinging the bat. Really loaded to that backside, timed everything perfectly, and then left the yard.
It's his 249th career home run, just his second off the bench.
Yeah, not the first time he's made that trip. So, I mean, he's done this a few times, as Drew mentioned. One thing you got to remember as a pitcher, a young pitcher like Escalona, is the fact other teams practice too. He made a good pitch down in the zone. And a very good hitter who's been good at his craft, over 240 home runs in his career, left the yard against him and disappointed, but they'll hand it over to Rex.
There's one out in the 8th inning. Tonight's pitching change is brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. Rex Brothers on for the 10th time this year.
Has dominated in 8 of those 9, hasn't been scored upon. 9 hits given up, 8 strikeouts, Inherited runners, 1 of 1. The first batter he faced. You'd really like that over that 75 mark, and he's at 78. Outstanding.
Cliff Pennington with 1 out. Eric Hinsky, the other big left-handed bat on the bench for Arizona, is in the on-deck circle.
Well, I mentioned earlier that's played right into the hands. If you had to go and they start to make a bunch of changes, you've got your left-handed guy, because their whole bench was all left-handed tonight.
2-0. And 3 straight out of the zone.
Yeah, down, missing low. I mean, angles are good for Rex right now, but it's not a matter of downward angle. It's a matter of location right now. No secret, 2-run lead coming right at you. Throw 90, 97 miles an hour. Come hit it. Yeah, a little different. We showed you pitch grips earlier of Jorge De La Rosa, kind of the different grips now of Rex Brothers. You see that slider on top, really trying to grip something. He wants this middle finger riding on that seam so he can get something to pull against. Here's the 4-seam fastball. You're looking for backspin, adds a lot of velocity. Back to that circle change again out on the outside for Rex.
He's going to get it out here, shallow center field. Rutledge goes out, and he makes the grab. So Pennington retired, and Hinsky, with 2 outs and nobody on, will pinch hit for Cahill. One and one. Hinsky, a career .365 hitter against Rockies pitching.
Rear back and let it fly, and here you go, hit it. Elevated fastball at 93. Watch his hands quickly. Now watch coming out of the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl. You're going to see this coming out of Rex's hand, and look how quick that ball got on Hinsky. Now going to get on top and drive that. Very good illustration on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl. You get to see it again.
And Hinsky's gone. Rex Brothers comes on. He gets Pennington and punches out Hinsky. 2-run home run in the inning by Eric Chavez. The Rockies lead it 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Tonight, the Rockies have now recorded a home run in 16 of their 17 games this season. And for one of those big hitters, Carlos Gonzalez, he has lofty goals for the middle of the lineup.
Hopefully we all can hit 40 home runs. As long as it helped the team, we all feel really happy. Last night was too low. Any night can be one of us stepping up and doing damage at the plate, and we're having so much fun right now. And it's good when it's that way. You hit one tonight, a big one, and then I go the next day. So it's good.
It's fun indeed. 27 home runs in all for the Colorado Rockies from 7 different hitters. Of course, Dexter Fowler leads the club with 7 home runs. But guys, as I see Reed Brignac coming up to bat, he doesn't have a home run yet. I'm just saying. I know that he wants to join the club,
Yeah, and he's got some pop also. Fans get to know him a little bit. Tampa the last few years. Some changes for Arizona. Eric Chavez with the 2-run home run. Stays in the ballgame at third base. Josh Wilson is the man he pinch hit for. He was playing second, so Prado moves from third over to second. And Josh Colementer's on the hill. We saw him last night. He had a 1-2-3 inning. The Rockies bullpen. Their closer is up, Rafael Betancourt. Brignac has a great changeup.
That's that funny arm ankle coming out over the top of it.
Around baseball tonight, the Orioles beat the Dodgers 6-1. Dodgers are now 7-10. Chris Davis hit another home run. Manny Machado as well. Davis with 7 home runs. Beckett took the loss. He's 0-3. The Indians still going. It's 19-6 over the Astros in the 8th inning. We talked about this earlier. Giambi has hit a home run in that ball game. His second of the year. He's got 5 RBIs. Reynolds hit his 6th. Santana's 3rd. Inside. Cardinals shut out the Phillies tonight 5-0. Beltran hit a home run, his 4th. Anthony Lynn got the victory. He's 3-0. Cliff Lee took the loss. It's 2-1. Changeup misses and a walk for Reed Brignac with 1 out. That'll bring up Torrealba. Who Wants Tacos fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies do score 7 in a game for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. And when the Rockies score 7+, Taco Bell, Root Sports together will donate $250 to the Colorado I Have a Dream Foundation. Yorvit is 0 for 2 and a walk. Fouled off out of play down the right field line. Brewers stayed hot. They won again. Brewers beat the Cubs 5-1. Jonathan Lucroy with his 3rd home run of the year. The Rockies have the longest winning streak going in Major League Baseball at 7 straight. But Milwaukee has now won 6 in a row. One and one. Mentioned Betancourt getting loose. Matt Belisle as well. Rays shut out the Athletics tonight 1-0. Jeremy Hellickson got the victory there. 7th inning, the Giants lead the Padres 2-0 behind Tim Lincecum. Pablo Sandoval his 3rd home run. 9th inning, the Rangers 3 outs from beating the Mariners. They're up 5-0. A.J. Przinsky hit his 3rd home run in that ball game. In 13 innings, the Reds on a Brandon Phillips hit beat the Marlins 3-2. Joey Votto hit his 2nd for the Reds. Played a double dip in Baltimore Camden Yards, and the Orioles swept the Dodgers. I was reading the second game. The first game, the Orioles won 7-5. 11 innings, the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 5-3. Vernon Wells hit his 5th home run for New York. Slowly hit to Chavez. He could still do that, huh? 6 Gold Gloves for Eric Chavez with the Oakland A's. He made that look easy. The hard thing about that play, George, is when you grab it, you're grabbing it with your entire hand.
Just got to make sure you got a firm grip. You don't have a hold of it with 3 or 4 fingers when you're throwing the baseball. You try to get adjusted to it. He's going to play it a little bit deeper than he has to, but with Torrealba running, it allowed him to have a little bit more time to get things done. Colorado Rockies Youth Baseball Camp at Coors Field will be July 23rd and 24th this season. Registration will begin in May for the boys and girls ages 8 to 13. Hope you can make it.
Chris Nelson will pinch hit.
First time
he's at second base.
First time he's pinch hit this year.
He had a triple and a run scored yesterday in the Rockies' 3-1 victory. Nationals beat the Mets 7-6. Bryce Harper, pair of home runs. He's got 7 now.
4 of them came in a couple of games.
LaRoche is 3rd. Ian Desmond is 3rd. One and one. Red Sox, fittingly, got 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Beat the Royals 4-3 at Fenway. And a very emotional day today, naturally, in Boston.
Chris Nelson is a pinch hitter in his career, 10 for 27, 370, couple of home runs, and 5 RBIs. He's had a lot of success coming off the bench.
Pirates cooled off the Braves tonight, 3-1. Braves fall to 13-4. Clint Hurdle's club's 9-8. James McDonald beat Paul Mahala. Jason Grilli, former Rocky, with his 6th save. 2-1. Nope, 3-1. EY's on deck. Angels beat up the Tigers 10-0. Mike Trout hit a grand slam in the 1st. That's his 2nd home run of the year. Twins at 10 over the White Sox, 2-1. Coleman are able to strike out Nelson. Brignac left at second. We will go to the 9th inning. The Rockies 4 and the Arizona Diamondbacks 2. That man looking for 3 more outs. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. Rockies 4, the Diamondbacks 2. Rockies looking for their 8th consecutive victory. And looking to orchestrate a happy Toyota postgame show is Joel Klatt, deep in center field. Joel.
That's right, Drew, and everybody, all of us guys, love to be the master of our own domain, correct? Well, Jorge De La Rosa is the master of this house. He continues his dominance here at Coors Field tonight with 6 beautiful innings of pitching on the bump. We'll talk about that, plus the power of 3. Michael Kadire with a great night, both defensively and offensively. We'll talk a little Cuddy Man, plus get you into the clubhouse for Walt Weiss. That's all coming up on the Toyota postgame show. All
right, Joel, we appreciate it. Don't forget, Toyota Talk will continue during the entire postgame show, so keep texting in those comments. Rafael Betancourt got his 6th save last night, looking to tie Craig Kimbrell and Sergio Romo for the top spot in the National League, actually the big leagues, in terms of saves. He had 31 saves a year ago. He's going to face the top of the Arizona order, A.J. Pollock, Martin Prado, and Paul Goldschmidt. Wow, 30,380 on a Saturday night.
Drew talked an awful lot about his numbers, and another look at it with 9 appearances. He's got to have it 78% of the time, first batter efficiency, a huge number when you're the closer. 8 1/3 innings pitched so far. The opposition has hit just 111 against him.
Pollock's 1 for 3.
0 for 2 against Betancourt.
First pitch strike. This ball slammed to deep left center field by Pollock, and it's off the wall. Pollock, lead double. That was hit a ton.
Mike Shaw, Subaru Super Bowl, wanting that fastball down and away. You see the ball start to run back to the middle. Had that late tail that got it out over the middle of the plate. And Pollock made him pay for it. Deep left center field, one of the deepest parts of the ballpark. First time that Arizona's had a runner in scoring position.
Martin Prado. Runs inside, ball 1. Prado a tough out. 1 for 2 tonight in the walk. Rockies 4 runs, 6 hits. The Diamondbacks 2 runs, 5 hits. They've committed 2 errors. We're in the 9th inning. Nobody out. A leadoff double by A.J. Pollock. And a ground ball snared by Betancourt.
Now, because of his follow-through, it allowed him to make a play on that baseball. Very good reaction, though, with the ball being hit right back at him. His momentum takes him first base side. He's able to catch the ball, check the runner, and flip to first. 1 out.
Now a guy you have to be particularly careful with, Paul Goldschmidt. accomplished young hitter who really works hard at his craft. He's a big video room guy. That's where Betancourt figures to live, right on the edge. Caught the black, it's 0-1.
Right where you like to make it a pitcher's pitch and called a strike, because you've earned that pitch just right on the edge of the home plate to be called a strike, because Betancourt just pounds the zone, and that reputation well known among umpires.
Move out there again, and this ball center field, and it'll drop in front of Dexter. Moving up just 90 feet is Pollock. He had to make sure the ball wasn't caught. So Goldschmidt with a 1-out single is first and third, and Gerardo Parra will come up. Keep in mind, you have the young kid Alfredo Marte on deck, but you have Miguel Montero available.
You see on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo that ball right down the middle of the plate caught a little bit too much of it. Goldschmidt, the big guy with a long swing. And now you're ground ball away from putting this thing to bed.
Nobody's in that on-deck circle right now.
I think it'll be Montero, though, who will be the guy coming up.
Parra. Here's Miguel. He did not offer it that pitch, so it's 1-0. Ball on the ground here. Speeds on 1-1. Paul Goldschmidt, though he's a first baseman, who's a tying run at first, runs very well. It's the time you think of first baseman as station-to-station type of runners.
He's an Albert Pujols type runner for their size. Pujols runs the bases extremely well. Parra, one of the guys that are a pesky type hitter. He really keeps his hands quiet, slaps at the baseball, and then waits for a pitch that he can do damage on.
Goldschmidt 18 stolen bases last year, doesn't go, and it's off the plate. So how big a risk would that be? Again, Betancourt very deliberate in everything he does. If you swipe second, then a base hit conceivably would tie up the game.
You better get a big jump. You better make sure you're going to make it with 1 out. Last thing you need to do. I mean, the ball gets into the gap as well as he runs. It could be a play at the plate. You get thrown out, it'll be difficult to live with.
3-2. Tried to get an offer on the changeup. Alan Trammell's running the club. A couple innings ago, Cody Ross was tossed out. And so is Kirk Gibson. They weren't happy with a called third strike. Big pitch here, 3-2. There goes the runner, and it's low, ball 4. And now the bases are loaded for Miguel Montero, who has done a lot of damage in his career against the Rockies.
Now you're just trying to control the damage. Because Montero, 16 of 72 as a pinch hitter in his career. 3 long balls. Dead fastball hitter. Get the ball on the ground, you got a chance.
14 lifetime home runs against the Rockies. He's been slumping of late. He fouls this one off. Three for his last 25 at the plate. One out, bases loaded, 9th inning. Rockies ahead 4-2. Strike. Oh, wow. Where is that?
Bedford was kind of
off the plate.
thinking the same thing, and off the plate, but barely off of the plate on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. He watched this pitch. Now watch Torbiao's glove. A lot of movement on that, other than the fact Torbiao may have pulled it back to the zone a little bit. It's off the plate.
Good call by Chad Fairchild. Will Nieves is on deck. Torrealba and Betancourt want to make absolutely sure what direction they go here. 1-2.
Well, you got to go with your money pitch, and again, this is something the Rockies have worked on all year, and that's to keep the ball on the ground. With the bases loaded right now, and, an opportunity to turn 2, allow the defense to work for you. And this is something you just got to try to believe in it and go with it.
Pollock at third, Goldschmidt at second, the tying run. Parra is at first, the 1-2, and it's fouled off.
I credit him, Montero, for fighting off some really nasty pitches by Betancourt, too, to extend this at bat. Betancourt's made 3 really good fastball pitches in the outer half.
And they're going to have another meeting. Another 1-2. Inside, it's 2-2.
Money pitch coming now to 2-2 count. You don't want to get to 3-2 count. It's been a fastball situation the whole time. It's just taken away from Montero and his power because they've kept the ball away from him.
Checked his swing on a changeup or a breaking ball in the dirt. And it's 3-2. Here's the 3-2 to Montero. And he just did get a piece.
They caught right on the shin guard, if not mistaken. I mean, Torrealba limping a little bit. Came right off the bottom of the bat, sinking fastball. And right here, it catches it right on the shin guard and pushes it right back into fair territory. Of course, fans don't see that. They see the ball pop out. So they assumed that it was hit in fair territory. Hernandez, setup man for Arizona, is warming up in case they tie this up.
Here we go again, 3-2 with the bases loaded and 1 out. Ground ball fair, and the Rockies will get the out. Kadire didn't risk the throw. Pollock scores. It is 4-3. Tying run now at third, and the go-ahead run at second with 2 outs. With Will Nieves coming up.
You're going to see this ball when it's hit. Everybody's back to allow you to have the right coverage and range. But there would not have been a play at home plate. It's too risky to throw this ball with a runner coming at you and the other runner coming home. Give the run, get the out.
Nieves tonight. A ground ball to first, a walk, and a base hit up the middle.
Torrealba alerting the third base, first base side of things. Be careful of the bump. Get ready to get in if you have to, because Nieves can do that. Rignac was playing 8 to 10 steps behind the bag. He can walk in gingerly.
In the air, right field, should be the final out. Eric Young in the neighborhood. He's got it. The Rockies have won 8 straight. And they're off to their best start in franchise history. They are 13-4 through 17 ball games. High drama in the 9th, but Betancourt got the 27th out. De La Rosa with the victory. He's 2-1. Cahill takes the loss. He's 0-3. And a major league tying 7th save for Rafael Betancourt. Tonight's Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. De La Rosa dominant once again. He came in with a string of 11 shutout innings going, and he added 6 more this evening. He gave up just 2 measly singles, and he had good defense played behind him. Jorge De La Rosa with the victory tonight. Visit jimmyjohns.com to find a location near you. In front of more than 30,000, the Rockies improved to 8-0 at Coors Field, and 12 straight, a new franchise best dating to last year.